Right on, Bears fans. Another edition of the Chicago Bears podcast coming your way. Pat the designer, Jason McKie, who apparently is still cold after only being outside for 20 minutes. The beanie is not coming off this episode. No. J Mack, what's going on, Brody?
Hey, and I definitely was not outside for 20 minutes. I was outside for 2 minutes, and I'm still cold. All good, man. Talking about, I guess the off-season version.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird, man. Off-season podcast now, and just it was all good just a week ago, man, and now we're in the off-season. But it is what it is. At least we had a good season leading into the off-season, so it makes it that much better.
Definitely a lot to build off this season. I think there's going to make some good conversations this offseason. I want to talk about what the singular best thing that we learned about this Chicago Bears team this season was. Got to take a look at some of the free agents that are on this team. You got some tough decisions to make this offseason because you have a lot of very talented players on this team. And Ben Johnson, a finalist for Coach of the Year, but will he win it? We'll talk about that and more on today's episode of the Chicago Bears podcast. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. This episode brought to you by Underdog. Make picks, win money. And by the way, if you are a construction worker out there today, bless your heart.
Oh my!
Hey, let them know though, it's not quite the polar vortex. If you was working during the polar vortex was crazy. Our foreman on the site, because we had to be there, because if we weren't on site, they was going to throw us off the site, essentially. Oh, wow. They was like, we'll find people that do want to work. It was like, it will kill you.
That is crazy.
Run outside, turn the wrench, run back inside.
That is crazy.
The whole day turning one bolt because of how cold it was.
That is unbelievable. Wow.
Absolutely nuts. But little Chicago Bears talk to warm our hearts here. J Mack is, you led off with it, right? It was a very good season. You saw a lot of good from this team, a lot of growth that needs to happen. But when you look back at the season, what was the best thing that you saw develop this year? Was it the quarterback? Was it the coach? Was it the O-line? Was it the takeaways?
I'm going to say just team chemistry. And chemistry led to all of those things you just said, right? Team chemistry, I think, led to a defensive unit that generated a lot of takeaways. You look at the adversity they faced, right, when down, under 2 minutes. I think 7 times they came back and won those games because of the chemistry and them facing in that adversity together as a team and winning those games. You look at the success that each individual had, Caleb, you go down the line, look at all the rookies and the offensive line and all of these things, the defense. It's because they had a team chemistry and a belief within one another that they can go out there and win no matter the situation and no matter what was at stake. And they're in the offseason now, but I think when you have a team that is starting to gel together, a team that really believed in one another and believe in a head coach, I think that's something that can definitely be built upon. And that's the key to having a level of sustained success when you have that bond, that chemistry, and that leads to results. And, I know firsthand from my time playing, we had a tight locker room. We're still tight to this day. And that really led to a lot of success because that, hey, I know my brother and the man next to me is going to give it his all. I know he's going to execute in critical moments of a game. I know he's not going to give up, and I'm not going to do that because I don't want to let him down. And when you have that mentality that your brother's success is greater than your own, that's when you have something special.
Was it that way for you guys after the 2005 season when you lose to the Panthers in the playoffs? But the season was so good. You knew that you could count on each other. And it seemed like when you watch how 2006 started, it was like, we know who we are. We have our identity now. It's just about us finishing the job. Yeah,
we knew. I mean, after that season, playing the Carolina Panthers in the playoffs, and we beat them in the regular season. Obviously, we lost to them in the playoffs. We were embarrassed. We were pissed off, but we knew we had a special group. And yes, every year is a different, story. And at the end of every year comes change. And there were different guys on our team. There's going to be different guys on this team, right? Guys are going to be let go. We're going to get into the tough decisions that's going to have to be made. But we knew our core group of guys were coming back. And we knew we had a chance to be really special. And our motto, and this came from Ruben Brown, our whole theme of that year was Space Mountain. And we broke it down in practice. And what Space Mountain was it was achieving the ultimate goal, reaching that pinnacle, and that was going to the Super Bowl. Not only going to the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl, and yes, we didn't win the Super Bowl, but we knew after that game that we had a chance to be special, and we knew we were going to the Super Bowl. And you see how we came out that season. I think we're 7-0, and then finally lost our first game, and even after that, nobody blinked. And this is a team that led by a coach that just has an unbelievable level of resiliency. And he just came in and won that locker room and instilled a whole new mindset and belief amongst this team, Pat. And even in his presser the other day, I love the fact that he said, hey, last season was good. He's already flipped the script. So I hope he goes to the beach. I hope he gets his sandals. I hope he goes out and enjoys himself. Him and his family. I mean, these coaches put in a lot of work, but knowing Ben Johnson, who's a psychopath about football, which is a great thing. If he's on the beach, guess what? He's going to have that playbook next to him where he's going to be drawing plays in the sand, Pat. So you got to love it, man. I'm a super Ben Johnson fan.
Yeah.
I'm sad that some of these coaches aren't going to return either, but it's what it's about, man. These coaches came here, they thrived under Coach Johnson. They'll get an opportunity elsewhere.
And I asked him yesterday, is there a sense of pride in the fact that you put together a team that's able to have coaches where teams around the NFL go, I want him as a leader. We're hearing right now, like I know a lot of people were like, there's no chance that this was going to happen during the season. Declan Doyle right now is interviewing for a Philly job that no one else wants.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of high praise that this kind of unit has. A lot of people look at Declan Doyle as just the guy that goes and gets Ben Johnson's coffee because Ben Johnson's calling the plays. That's not the case. He's calling plays during the practices, right? Mm-hmm. He's preparing Caleb Williams for this game as much as Ben is. He's the one that's out there helping with the development of the quarterback. And so they look around and see that and go, that's a guy that we feel could come over to this team and get the job done. Now, it does help that a lot of people turn the job down, but sometimes that's how you get your opportunities.
I hear you,
and
man.
The fact that he was that quick in the rotation, I was like that is something to me. If I was a coach, I'd be like, that's probably the thing I'd be most proud of, that other guys are getting jobs because of what they learned here.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what it's about. Like when you look at this coaching staffs, it's about the head coach being able to, develop other coaches. And, you're a great head coach, but if you're able to develop other coaches and you have success and these coaches are able to capitalize on the success they had under you as a head coach and they go on and be successful head coaches in their own realm or coordinators, that speaks volumes to the type of head coach that you were. And there's even been a lot of speculation, right? You look at Nick Saban and look at his tree that he has, right? You look at the Shanahan tree. I mean, all these coaches have gone on. I mean, look at Cignetti just won for Indiana this year, the national championship, a Saban disciple. And I think when you look at it, and I know this is a Bears podcast, but I forget who said it in the media. Somebody said that Mike Tomlin, who I'm a super fan of, shouldn't be a Hall of Famer because he doesn't have a coaching tree.
That wasn't. I mean, yeah, it is media, but it wasn't media. That was James Harrison.
Yeah, James Harrison's a guy who played under Mike Tomlin. So, James Harrison. Yeah. James Harrison's media too. Hey, he's his own channel. It's Debo. The Debo channel. And I'm a Tomlin fan, so I disagree with the fact that, and I don't want to get into Pittsburgh, but this just relates in terms of.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
It just relates in terms of us talking coaches and success and them having opportunities. I think Tomlin's definitely a Hall of Famer just because of, you look at his career, the longevity, the wins and stuff like that. But it is a discussion, right? Are you really a great coach?
Yeah.
If you don't have a coaching tree or coaches that have gone on after they've left coaching under you and have had success. Yeah. And I think that's a big factor.
It is interesting. Year one of this, Ben Johnson, Dennis Allen, they're getting guys that are getting plucked away, right? Al Harris is a guy that's being plucked away from possibly from Dennis Allen with all the DC jobs that he's interviewing for. And I do think that it's interesting because some of these guys, like Declan Doyle is a Ben Johnson guy, right?
Exactly.
That would be his tree. But realistically, you brought coaches in that were going to get the job done that already had experience. Eric Bieniemy coming here. You brought Eric Bieniemy here to teach you, or to teach the running backs what Eric Bieniemy knows about being a great running back in this NFL, because he was a great running back in this NFL and he was a great coach. So I do think it gets a little like murky with some of that, because
I'm not talking about those.
Tomlin.
Yeah.
Tomlin brought dudes in that knew what they were doing. So all he had to do was run the team.
Very true. And that's not my point is, when you look at guys like Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, all guys who were, in with the Commanders, right, in Washington, and they were guys that were low on the totem pole. You know what I'm saying? They were position coaches, GAs, and stuff like that. I mean, and have gone on to be great because they learned from a great head coach. And I always go back to this, and I just talked about this the other day. My rookie year being in Philly, Andy Reid is a head coach, right? Ron Rivera was a linebacker coach at that time, wasn't established. Sean McDermott was a defensive quality control coach. Leslie Frazier was a defensive backs coach. David Culley was a wide receiver coach who became the head coach of the Houston Texans. Brad Childress was his offensive coordinator. John Harbaugh was a special teams coach, and the assistant special teams coach was Dave Tobe. All these coaches, right, have gone, all those guys, that tree has gone on to do something great. And none of those guys were necessarily established when they went to Philly. You know what I'm saying? So even those guys that went on to be head coaches, and I think John Harbaugh would say, like, obviously John Harbaugh his dad was a great coach for a long time, but he had an opportunity to be a special teams coach and learn from Andy Reid, his coaching style. You get a sense of what works, what doesn't work. You know what I mean? What does he do to have buy-in from his players and stuff like that? And I think that, Ben Johnson, he started out from the bottom of the barrel as well. And a lot of times I think Ben Johnson doesn't like some of these other coaches because they didn't get it. They didn't get it from the mud to say,
get it out the mud.
You didn't get it out the mud, bro. Like, hey, grow from the dirt they left you in, bro. Like, Ben Johnson came up.
The greatest example of that is, like, maybe it's just, and we focus so much on Sean McVay, but when we were playing the Rams and we were preparing for the Rams and like seeing them through the year, there was a point maybe like 6 or 7 weeks into the season where I looked and I was like, is that LaFleur's brother?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Me too.
It was 100% like, I never even peeped the fact, like, because we focus on Sean McVay so much as the play caller, right? Like, there's a bunch of people that probably don't know Declan Doyle is Ben Johnson's offensive coordinator because you're worried about the maniac Ben Johnson. So, like, I'm sitting there going through like week 6 and stuff, and I'm like, yo, they killing it. They cooking. Look at how they playing. Matthew Stafford's on the MVP candidate.
Yeah.
Is that LaFleur's brother?
Is that LaFleur? It says LaFleur. Are they related? Like, wait a minute. But it's true though, man. It's like, and then the funny thing, I mean, it is. And I think that's why Ben don't like these guys. He's like, hey, I ain't getting it. Ben like, man, forget y'all. I ain't get this opportunity because of my last name. I made the name. I made the name. Like, I earned this.
It is interesting to see, and I wouldn't go as far as James Harrison, right? Because I think bottom line is built on success. Now,
correct.
If you want to talk about Tomlin's success, right? We can look at the record and see that the record's phenomenal. It's a lot of 9-8 one exit finishes, right? Like,
it's a winning record, though, Pat.
It is a winning record. Agreed. But when you talk about Hall of Fame, right? Usually you look at those coaches and you were like, they dominated the league. Like, there was nothing you could do to throw those guys off. And maybe you could say that because of the stability. The one thing that I think is very different in Pittsburgh, and James Harrison will know more than me, but like, Pittsburgh is very like, you run the team, Mike.
Yeah.
And he's going to draft the team. We're going to give you this team and you got to coach it.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of a say or lack of say Mike has in the preparation of it. And again, like, we getting into a Pittsburgh Steelers podcast, but it was I thought it was very interesting to see that. And it's very interesting to see how Ben Johnson is going about replacing those coaches that were already here. We've already heard some rumblings, possibly just in preparation, right? He brings in, there's a rumor that the favorite or a favorite to come in and take a job on this coaching staff is Will Lawing, who was the OC at Boston College. Will Lawing's the tight ends coach. You ain't getting rid of Jim Drake.
But they were together at North Carolina.
They were together at UNC, and he played wide receiver. The second
Yep.
I saw that, I was like, oh, okay. He's probably preparing for the inevitability that one day Antoine Randall may not be here, and you're going to need a new wide receivers coach that you can have in the building. Correct. Played the position, knows the job, knows what to do there, has been an offensive coordinator. So I love the fact, and I think I left this season with this feeling, and even seeing it now with some of the people that he could possibly bring in and the names rumored to him. It's very Mike Holmgren-like, right? Mm-hmm. Mike Holmgren, great coach, but he also had Andy Reid. He also had John Harbaugh. He had guys that could put plays in as well and could help him through the job. I think Ben Johnson is very locked in, and he's self-aware enough to know it can't all just be me. There has to be input from other directions for this to be successful.
And that's a great point, because you talk about Holmgren. That tree is huge too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that tree went on to have success and went on to coach. And I mean, I think, in the fact that Ben understands that I know if I have a good staff, they're going to be purged from my staff each and every year. And that's okay, because he believes in his system, his method, and his in terms of what he can do from a head coaching standpoint. Yeah, we're going to lose something with those guys because they're elite level coaches, but I've set up something here, or I've set up a team in which it's going to be attractive to other coaches, and I know I can replicate or have sustained success because I believe in myself and what I'm able to do. And then, I know we're going to get into it too, but it's very important that the Bears give, him the support, right? And I think it's going to be huge this year. I think Ben Johnson is going to be like all over the moves that are made, right? We're going to talk about free agency and talk about retaining our own players and talk about the draft. Like, it's not just going to be Ryan Poles and his, scouting department making those decisions. Ben Johnson is going to be a part of it. He's going to be, not Ryan Poles is number one, but Ben Johnson is going to be like one B in that situation. You know what I'm saying? Making those decisions.
It's definitely going to be Ian. Have a great time in Atlanta. Appreciate you, brother. So we're going to go out and we're going to draft.
Even if Ian was here, I think Ben Johnson's still going to play a huge factor, because he wants guys that fits what he's doing.
The Colston Loveland pick, the Luther Burden pick, even the Ozzie Trapillo pick, like those are picks. By the way, Ozzie, now seeing it, right, knowing now that Will Lawing and him were teammates together, it's like, oh, okay, so you knew who Ozzie was. He probably had a little inside conversation on that. But like you see his hands all over those first few picks of this draft, and they were impact players right away. So I think that's the part where you feel a lot better about Ryan Poles going forward, where maybe you say, like, I know a lot of people, listen, me included, have been very critical of a lot of the moves that Ryan Poles made. Now, I'll never understand drafting a punter in the 4th round. I'll never understand taking Karan Amagaji in the 3rd round when he was built like a wisdom tooth. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it don't make sense. You can't be big at the top and little at the bottom and be a good tackle. Like, it just don't make sense to me,
Oh, man.
So I'll never understand it. But
that's funny.
You see how, and I think this is credit to Ben coming in, and maybe credit to Ryan learning the role a little bit more as well, how quickly he's okay with moving off of it. Karan Amagaji was a guy that in camp, I was like, y'all really putting him out here. Like, he's actually getting first-team reps right now. What are we doing?
Shoot, not only in camp, they put him out during the season. They put him out there. They fed him to the wolves in the season. He was like Chum. He was like Chum on the Shark Channel.
but quickly you saw it kind of just go like, I always imagine, I'm not saying this happened, but I do imagine it was like a moment where Ben just looks over at Ryan, and Ryan's just like, all right, do it. And he's just like, all right, let's get the next guy in, get him out of here, buddy.
You got,
we saw that so much in training camp.
You have to. I mean, it's and the thing is, like, I know, we're going to talk about Ryan Poles and the misses he's had. You're gonna have big wins and big misses. The problem is
it's a massive success.
Yeah, it's so hard. Like the combine, when you're scouting these guys, right? You really, I mean, the numbers and stuff like that, but you really have to. You can say you really have to go off the tape, but then even that, it's a crapshoot, because you just don't know. You just
it's not versus pros,
right? And you can't. The one thing at the combine, you can't measure. You can't measure heart. You can't measure that. Look at Kyle Monungai. Like, I mean, look at how many running backs was drafted ahead of him that didn't even touch the field. They're going to get cut. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially the late round guys. And here's a guy who was, I mean, contributed all year. They couldn't measure his heart. Yeah, he didn't have he's not the biggest guy, right? He didn't run the most elite 40-yard dash, but he's a ball player. He's a ball player. And
he literally was every measurable that that Ashton Genty was, except he did it in the Big Ten and actually showed it on the field professionally. I thought Ryan Clark had an assessment of Kyle Monangai that was phenomenal. He was like, I think some of these mugs come to the NFL and they don't realize that it's the guy on the other side's job to hit you as many times as possible. When you playing a graduate student in the Mountain West, he gonna get sick of you hitting him.
Right.
Like, them boys feed their families.
Exactly.
Hitting you like every single play. And I think Kyle Monangai maybe was a little bit more prepared. I love how Ryan Post said it in the presser, J Mack. He said, we love guys that love football.
That's it. You have to.
That we went after.
You have to. You got to love guys. You got to, first of all, it's guys who love football. Couple characteristics, right?
That's a crazy statement.
Yeah, because
for guys that are playing football for their life. But go ahead.
Yeah, guys who love football, right? They're going to do everything they can to develop themselves more so than a coach can ever do, because they're going to put in the extra time, the extra film study, right? The extra time in their playbook, extra time in the weight room. They're going to take their nutrition to an elite level, and then every single rep or snap that they have is an opportunity for them to grow and develop. So they're not guys that are going to say, they're not going to make this statement, oh, I have to go to practice today. Guys that are football players, I get to go to practice today. Yeah. I get to go watch film today. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get to get in this playbook today, not I have to. You know, these are the guys aren't worried about what type of bag they're going down in Michigan Avenue at the Louis store. No, my bag, the only bag I got's got my damn playbook in it. Those are football guys, Pat. And those are the type of guys that you got to have, right?
It's a very specific trait. I feel like that was somebody you knew there, Jay.
No, I'm just throwing it out there. It could be. I just said Lou. I don't know. There's so many different styles now. I'm old school, so that's the only designer brand I could think of. But when you have football guys, they're just as, you know, psychotic about football as the head coach, as Ben Johnson. Yeah. Like they want to be great, and everything they do involves them getting better at their craft, and it involves the game of football. Those are the guys I want, that I don't have to hope they're doing the right thing or hope they're putting in extra work. I know, like, when I leave that facility as a coach, and I know Ben's this way too, we all leaving at the same time, 1 in the morning, 2, or however late we stay in and get extra work. Or when I arrive at the facility in the morning, damn, he beat me here. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. He beat me here. He already worked out and watched film. You know what I'm saying?
Like, it's so interesting, but you do see it. You know what I mean? Like, for a fan, for somebody who's in the media who I dislocated my shoulder the first big hit I threw. That was it for football for me. You know what I mean? I was like, let me go back to this baseball diamond. let me go over here. You get hit with a ball every now and then, but your shoulders stay in place.
Right.
It's mind-boggling that you could have people who have made it to the NFL that don't love the game, but I think you truly do see, and I think Ryan had to learn this lesson with some of the moves that he made. I'll point one out obvious to you, Chase Claypool. Chase Claypool is a guy to me where I looked at his game and I was like, he has all the ability, all the talent, all the measurables, and it's why he got here. There's nobody when he wants to play that actually can go out there and stop him, but he wasn't in his playbook. Remember the first year we got him, it was like week 11 or 12 before he even got like out on the field and didn't know what the route concept he was supposed to run was. He didn't work on his game. He never figured out how to high point the football, which was the biggest thing that everybody was like, if you figure that out, you become unstoppable. And you saw, like, everywhere he went, he kind of just talked himself off of that team because it was a lot of talk. It was a lot of, yeah, I'm all in, I'm locked in. And then you wouldn't see that production on the field. So, like, I think Ryan had to learn that lesson that, like, just because you go to a great organization, Andy Reid only taking people that love football.
Yeah.
So Ryan coming up in that, he's probably just like, oh, yeah, you drafted them. They love football. You got to learn those lessons. I feel like he learned a lot of that from previous mistakes going into this draft, because just about everybody you got looks like, exactly as he said, they love the game.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you want. You've got to try to, through the limited amount of time that you have with these draft prospects, and you're going to have meetings, but it's like you're not around them for a week, you're around them for a few hours, and you got to find out what motivates them. and the things that motivate them isn't in line with what our culture is, right? What our team stands for. Or they motivated by other things. Some guys are motivated by a dollar. Some guys are motivated by greatness, and they want to, some guys are motivated by football, like we're talking about, because they're football guys. Some guys are motivated by Mercedes-Benz. Some guys are motivated by Diamond Jane. You know what I mean? But if you're not a football guy and you're not, motivated by chasing greatness or being good or continuing trying to level up your craft, and you don't have enough of those guys in the locker room, well, there's no chance of you having success year in and year out.
You say chasing greatness too many times, Cap gonna hit you with a copyright infringement. But no, listen, I think you got a lot of good on this team, and Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles are a big part of that. My singular thing, and I want to get your take on this, J Mack, because you were on the sideline when this happened. I think we saw Caleb Williams grow as a leader this season. And to me, I don't think there's anything more important than your quarterback being the most important leader on your team. You played on teams where Brian Urlacher, Olin Kreutz, Thomas Jones, you guys are, leaders in that locker room. But it wasn't necessarily Rex, or it wasn't necessarily Kyle, or it wasn't right when Jay got here. It wasn't necessarily Jay, because everybody looks at the word of the other guys there because they stepped up and took on that role. I'm not saying that you have to be. I think it is a benefit, though, when your quarterback is. And I thought in that Packer game in the playoffs where you saw guys Luther Burden throws up the mailbox and you're not seeing the crispest routes and guys aren't doing their job well enough, he wasn't afraid to call them out in front of everybody. He wasn't afraid to call them out after the game when he's getting a game ball after you've won and said, we have to be on our details or we are going to lose.
Yep.
And you saw a team that was definitely more on the details going into that next game. Like, to me, I don't think there's anything more important that you get out of this season than Caleb Williams looking like the leader along with the talent that you need this team to be. And I think that's a lot of Ben Johnson working with him this year and letting him know, like, it's okay for you to be that guy. You just got to know your job.
Yeah, exactly. And, it's just leadership, right? When you're Caleb Williams, you're the quarterback of an organization, you're in that leadership role. So everything you do is under a microscope. Everything you do is broken down to the minute detail, and you got to be able to lead by example. But there's times in which you have to be a vocal leader and you have to voice, what needs to be done or what we need to do better. And everybody's held accountable. But you can't hold anybody accountable if you're not doing the right thing, on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing. So it's good. We've seen growth, right, throughout this entire team. And it's good to see. And, there's going to be changes made. And us as Bears fans and analysts, we got to make sure that they continue bringing the right guys in that locker room that can make sure that that success arrow is pointed the right way, and that's up. So we'll see. I mean, this draft is very important. This offseason is very important because you got to stack good on good. You had a good offseason last year. Well, let's have an even better one this year, and that's how you keep building. And you're able to go out there and replicate, not just replicate the success that you had, but surpass it.
Yeah, I've said you got to have just as good of an offseason, if not better, this offseason than you had last offseason, because you got to work twice as hard, not only to figure out how to add pieces to this defensive line, but also how to make the cap work for you.
Yeah.
Like, there's some names out there that you can go after, but you've got Dio Dangbo here on a $50 million deal that he underplayed. You've got Montez Sweat on a big money deal that he did a good job at, but, it wasn't the consistency maybe that we wanted. You got Grady here on a big deal. Like, it's not like you went out there and you were like, this is a young defense that's very cheap, and so they're just trying to figure it out, and we got to develop them. No, you got veterans on this defense. This is I believe, the 5th or 6th highest paid defense in football, and it didn't look like it out there.
Yeah, it's crazy. They got a lot of, as Ryan Post said in his press conference, a lot of tough decisions to make. But there's one decision that you ain't got to make because you got it right. That's 2 words: Ben Johnson.
I was going Caleb Williams, but either one, baby, I'm down with it.
It's still 2 words. 2 words: Caleb Williams. Don't it sound good to say that? But don't it sound good to say that in the offseason? Because, I mean, last offseason, we're looking for a coach. Like, we're looking for a coach, man. Like, and we're wondering the time before that, Pat, we're wondering if we had a coach. Like, it's so good to say it with your chest. Ben Johnson.
And it's so funny to me, right? Because, Ben Johnson, 100%. And because of the job that he did, bringing everybody else in here. everybody that has to develop Caleb, like the under talked about guys, right? Or a JT Barrett. What did he do to calm Caleb down? Case Keenum coming into this building. What did he do to help Caleb Williams, give him some of that veteran leadership, being in those big moments? I'm not going to say that the Rams game was a great game for you offensively, but I don't think that you leave that game feeling like you were just woefully outplayed, and that's what puts you in that position in overtime. I think you gave yourself a chance. It didn't work out. Sometimes that's how football goes. To me, though, like you talk about the guys that Ben brought in, Dan Rashar, like the under talked about guys that are doing the job on a daily basis. We haven't had tackles since J Mack was in a helmet and pads.
I'm not going to agree with you.
I'll say it. I don't care. We ain't had tackles since J Mack was in a helmet and pads.
Oh man,
like it's been that long. So it's like you see how everything came together this season. It does start with Ben Johnson changing the mindset, changing the culture, and bringing a different feel into that building. A feel that Chicago has not felt in a long time. We got to talk about some of the pieces that are a part of those feelings, though, because there are a lot of free agencies that they're going to have to prioritize this offseason, and it's a tough part of the NFL, J-Mac. Everybody don't get a spot. So we'll talk about that coming up next. But first, we do got to tell you guys all about Underdog. Download the app today. Sign up with the promo code CBP to score $75 in bonus interest when you play your first $5. This promo code CBP, and playing Underdog is so easy. Just pick your favorite player, and if they will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, rushing yards, receptions, and more, get them right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. That's right, 5,000 times your cash. So download the app today. Sign up with the promo code CBP to score $75 in bonus interest when you play your first $5. That's promo code CBP. Underdog, make picks, win money. EOQ, the disclaimer. Must be 18 years or older, 19 or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, 21 or over in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
I love that my husband's so handy. He leaves more money for the important stuff. Gosh darn it, Steve.
Oh, don't be like Steve. Call Avondale Roofing. DIY is for Pinterest, not your roof.
Welcome back into the Chicago Bears podcast. Pat the Designer, Jason McKie back at it again. Today's episode also brought to you by the Advantage Dealer Group. Find your next Chevy, Toyota, or Acura and drive off in under 60 minutes, or they'll make your first car payment. Also brought to you by the Hard Rock Casino in Northern Indiana, Las Vegas style gaming, just 30 minutes from Soldier Field, right off exit 6, I-80 94. That maybe a little closer to a new Bears stadium with how some of the pitching Indiana's doing out here is going. So it may be you stop at might not be 30 minutes from Soldier. Might be a good 10 minutes from whatever the new stadium name is. You're not liking it, J-Mac? You don't like the Indiana?
That's crazy, man. That's crazy, man. We'll see what happens.
Yurko laid out the business of it, and him laying out all the stuff that Indiana was going to do. I was like, listen, I hate it.
Yurko lives right down the street. Of course he likes
100%.
Of course he does.
No, but it truly is. It's like, I hate it, but he make a good point as a businessman. It do kind of make sense.
I'm sure if they're gonna they're not they're gonna front a lot of money and everything like that. Yeah, it's
they pretty much fronting all the money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's good business. If I'm a businessman, you don't even stay and I ain't gotta pay for it. Of course. Hey, J-Mac,
if I was going to give you a house and I told you had to pay 90% of it or 0% of it, which
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. You're going to be the Indiana Bears. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Bear down. I hope they stay in Chicago. Keep them in Chicago. Well, keep them in Illinois. I don't really care where the stadium's at. Right. Chicago. Right. I'm thinking about J-Mac, though, man. He got to drive out to Indiana every week.
Hey, they're gonna be a hotel room. I'm gonna be staying at the casino right there.
He's staying at the Hard Rock.
The Hard Rock, baby.
He's staying right at the
right.
Hey, you can catch J-Mac right after we're gonna be on the post game show. We're gonna be winner. Be like, J-Mac,
I'm gonna be at the craps table. I'm gonna be at the craps table.
Hey, man, we got to talk about the free agents that the Bears actually have this year. They have a lot of guys that are available, and Unfortunately, there's not a spot for all of them with how the Bears' finances are looking going into this offseason. I think there's some big name guys here. There's some guys that obviously you're okay with moving on from. So let's play a little game, J Mac. A little stay or go. If you were the GM, stay or go. Let's start off with Kevin Byard and what he's meant to this team. What are your thoughts on? Is Kevin Byard back with this team? 32 years old.
Yeah, I say stay because you have, right. I think it's based upon, I don't know how they're going to grade the value of each player. Yeah. But he's definitely a football guy. He had a production, even if he's older, but he also brings that leadership, right?
Led the league in interceptions.
Yes, and cohesiveness in the locker room. So, it's you got to put some value on all of those things. Led the league with the production, and what he did in the locker room was huge this year. So, yeah, you definitely got to try to bring him back.
There's some guys that it is like the glue guy of that room. You know what I mean? Like, and KB was always in the middle. He was always talking with the young guys, teaching them. So he's an interesting one. Here's a tough one though. 26 years old, Jaquan Brisker.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Both back.
And I like Jaquan, man. It's like, can you afford to bring them both back? And Jaquan's had an injury history and stuff like that. So
played 17 this year though.
Yeah, he did.
Played 17 this year.
And when he's in there, and when you look at when him and Kyler Gordon are in the lineup, we saw that the last game. This defense is different. So I just don't know if you can bring him back. There's going to be teams out there that's going to, want to bring him and add them to their team. So
that's the tough part too. He's a free agent, so he can get.
I think he's going to be out of the Bears' price range, honestly. If you're trying to bring back Kevin Byard too, and I love Jaquan Brisker as a player. I love him as a person. He's an awesome dude, man. Sky's the limit for him.
Yeah, Dan Graziano said the same thing. He said he believes that other teams are just going to offer so much that the Bears are going to be priced out of the Brisker market. I would say he's probably a go as well. Andrew Billings, 30 years old, defensive tackle. Big Bill, he was looking a little too big at the end of the season, especially when he was trying to chase Matthew Stafford around.
He said a little too big.
He was looking a little too big.
I don't know, man. I think what he does in the run game, and he's also, he was a rotational guy too, because they had, so many guys they played on that interior, Grady Jarrett, Javon Dexter, and stuff like that. If the price is right, I think he's a guy you try to sign just because what he can do in the run game.
Keep him in the rotation too.
Correct.
Okay, that'll be interesting. I would probably say, I feel like you got to upgrade that position. I do agree with you. Big Bill's instrumental in the run game. Mm-hmm. But your run defense wasn't very good this year either.
Yeah, it wasn't.
So it's like, that one gets tough for me. Devin Duvernay. Listen, J-Mac, baseline for me, he catches the football and runs it the right direction.
Yeah.
I'm coming off of Velus Jones, who dropped that laughing emoji. F you, dog. I'm coming off of Velus Jones PTSD, so I'm in on Duvernay coming back another year.
Me too. I like Duvernay. I really do. He's solid. He has some big returns and critical moments too. And like you said, the dependability on him in terms of just fielding the football is huge. And Coach Hightower loves him too. So I see him being back.
Nashawn Wright led the league in takeaways this year. Got cooked respectfully a few times in coverage this year. Maybe one too many times in coverage this year. But definitely always gave you that takeaway ball. 27 years old. Nashawn Wright, somebody you want back in it. And this may be a Brisker situation financially, because if you look at Trayvon Diggs, who also did that at one point, Trayvon Diggs got $19 million that year.
Yeah, I think you got. Well, I mean, I think you got to try to bring him back. He's still young. It's coming into his own, having a career year. It remains to be seen if Al Harris will be back. Obviously, interviewing for some coordinator jobs, but I think the fact that you got a big athletic corner like Nashawn Wright that has shown you time and time again the ability to come up with big plays, you definitely want to try to keep him in your secondary.
Here's another guy that might be a low budget but high performance guy. DeMarco Jackson. I thought how he stepped
definitely
in,
got to keep him.
Especially knowing TJ is going to be banged up by the time camp starts. He'll probably be back by the time he gets there. But I thought DeMarco Jackson stepped in, did a phenomenal job calling the defense. Remember, he was the green dot guy. I thought he did a really good job out there making plays, especially in the run game. I thought the Bears' run game actually improved when DeMarco Jackson got in there. He's a guy I want to keep for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. I agree with you on that one.
Braxton Jones. Is that a bring back on that one, J Mac? Maybe need some depth.
Isn't that crazy? Braxton Jones is 26 years old and he's played that many games, right? Like
40 games.
I mean, he's older. He's younger than DeMarco Jackson, which is crazy to me. But he didn't play. I mean, Didn't play this year, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
he did. And then they went,
but I'm saying he didn't. But yeah, I mean, it's
that Raiders game. They just went, that's enough.
But I think what interesting with that is you look at the Ozzie Trapilo injury and kind of the landscape of your tackle position in his experience, but also his youth. You know, is he another guy who, because he didn't play, is he reinvigorated
New
in
fire.
in terms of his motivation? Because you can't replace the amount of starts that he has at 26 years old. So I think if the price is right, then, you know, maybe try to bring him back, depending on, you know, what the outlook looks for Ozzie, I would say.
I got too much PTSD, so no, just go draft the left tackle.
Yeah.
I got too much PTSD.
Yeah, we'll see.
Hey, I got a picture saved in my computer of all 5 of the linemen down there, and Braxton's on one knee, looking like I'm in my room. Like, no, I can't do it, J Mac. Olamide Zaccheaus. I love the player that he was this year. A couple times where there were too many drops. But for me, that's not the reason why I think he's a guy that ends up going. I think your wide receiver core is pretty set with the big 3 names that you have. And I'm one who doesn't believe DJ Moore is getting traded this offseason. I think that they're probably going to try and figure it out and see what happened there and hopefully work him back into this. I think you're going Luther Burden, you're going DJ Moore, you're going Rome Odunze moving forward, and there's just not a spot right now.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I don't think, you know, with Luther and his emergence, you want to get him more opportunities. I don't see Zaccheaus being in that receiver room. Plus you still got Jade Walker, who showed some talent as well, too. Yeah. So I think they're like, hey, we got a guy who's cheaper as well, showing us a lot of potential, made plays, you know, in critical moments of games as well. And Jade Walker, I think they really like I really like Jade Walker, too.
Yeah.
I don't think Zaccheaus will be in the Bears uniform next year.
Elijah Hicks is DB, 26 years old. It's probably a money shed move to me. I don't know if Elijah makes it back. Dom Robb is an interesting one. Saw some up and down, but I thought he did. What was your assessment of that Rams game? I don't know if you've taken a second to watch the tape yet, but like Dom Robb went interior a little bit and looks pretty good on the interior.
Yeah, and the thing about Dom Robb, he's still learning how to play D-line for the most part. A guy who was a quarterback in college, he was a tight end. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So a really athletic guy who's still really understanding the position with a lot of upside. I think it goes back to what do you value, who you're looking at, how much money that you have, and, you know, what is he looking for? So that's a question mark for me. I don't know what they will do with him.
Here's what for Scott Daly. We bring him the long snapper back, J Mac.
I mean, he's consistent. Well, do we have any bad snaps? I don't.
Hey, look, the football got back there. That's
I don't recall ever being like, God dang it, Scott Daly. Like, if there was a situation like that, then I'd be like, get him up out of here.
Hey, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't remember a situation where a long snapper ever messed up really in the Bears. We've had some solid long snappers for a while here.
Yeah, we've been blessed.
Manley was here for a minute. He got banged up, but Manley was like.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. If you're hearing about the long snapper, you gotta go because they ain't nothing good. If I'm hearing about the long snapper in a game, you gotta go. You know what I'm saying? So
hey, J Mac, it's not many positions where you only get one chance to mess up. If you're a long snapper, you probably only getting one chance.
And on the sideline, I'll say this: dude is not just sitting there just watching a game with a hot dog and some sunflower seeds and a cup of chicken broth. He's actually over there every time I'm walking past. He's snapping as he should be, but nonstop to make sure he's ready. So I give Scott Daly some love. For sure, man. Bring him back. Bring my man Scotty.
How long do you think you could play that position? Could you go back and be a long snapper, J Mac? There's a lot of protection.
How long can you play that position? Forever. And that's spelled with the number foe. Forever.
That's what you should have did, J Mac. You should have went from fullback to long snapper.
I've said that a lot of times. I said, man, I should have learned how to snap because when I was done playing fullback and got tired of running in the brick walls and being involved in car crashes, I could have just snapped for another 5 or 6 years. Like, unbelievable. Jason
McKie, the oldest tenured player on the Chicago Bears.
That thing, right on the money. Right on the money.
Is Case Keenum somebody that you think the Chicago Bears bring back this year? A lot of veteran leadership got out of him, but maybe Caleb got the most out of the lessons.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like, he was an extra coach, and you know, I think interestingly, I think another name and this ties in with Case Keenum and the coaching point. Look at J.T. Barrett, who was heavily involved in Caleb's development, a guy who, as soon as Caleb came off the sideline, he would look for J.T. Barrett in that iPad. They would really, dive deep into that previous series that they had on the field. And you heard Ben Johnson allude to Case Keenum in terms of the value that he had and in terms of him still being able to play if his number was called upon. So I think it's tough. It's just a matter of how much you're going to pay him. Does Case want to come back as well?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a big thing. Some of you guys may not want to come back because they may want to go elsewhere to get an opportunity to play or play more. So, I think if the price is right, and if who knows, we don't know if Case, he may retire and try to be a coach and join the coaching staff. I don't know. It remains to be seen.
Hey, Case 37 years old. I think if we got to the point where Case got in the game, Case would have been like, "Hey, brother, what we doing?"
You gotta be elite at handing the ball off in that situation.
There you go, baby. Get on in there.
Let me carry out my fake after I hand the ball off.
Hey, what Phillip Rivers was doing out there, man. Phillip Rivers was still slinging that pill. That's all I know.
Who's actually interviewing? He's actually interviewing for the Buffalo Bills job right now.
That's insane. That's insane.
I hope he gets it.
Dog, I was cracking up.
I hope he gets it.
I was cracking up at First Take today because Ryan Clark was like, "F it, I'm finna go be a DC."
Yeah,
and they was like, "Well, you never been a DC." He was like, "Who cares? It don't matter no more. I played football. I just got to show up and I'm gonna just be a DC. I'm gonna just tell them I'm gonna be one, and they gonna hire me."
Oh man, this is hilarious.
Is there anybody out there? Chris Williams, Ryan Bates, Joe Tryon, Shoyinka, Durham Smite, all guys there. J.O.'s an interesting one because J.O. gave you some really good special teams. Jonathan Owens.
Yeah, real good special teams player. The price got to be right, though. We'll
price got to be right, of course.
Yeah, we'll see, man.
Nick McLeod, I think, is
special teams guy. He went in there, played some corner when guys were banged up. Actually played nickel a lot when guys were banged up. So it's like Ryan said, it's a lot of tough decisions. And the funny thing, some of these decisions we think are tough, and they already know. Like, we can't. You know what I'm saying? So it's.
Hey, J man, listen. I know you got to be the sideline guy. You're a former player. You get it. Hey, listen. I shouldn't see the back of a DB's jersey on that forward shot that much. I saw a lot of McLeod trailing the wide receiver.
I mean, it's. We'll see. It's going to be.
I also saw a lot of C.J. Gardner-Johnson trailing the wide receiver.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting offseason for sure, man.
Is there a name like that you bring back, right? Like I don't think we can have him on the list here, but that is a name that was a part of the team that was just here for a rental, essentially. And I think you reinvented a lot of what he is. Would you be interested in bringing CJ GJ back if maybe you don't bring Jaquan back and he's coming in at a little bit of a better price?
Yeah, I would. I like CJ. I really do. It's just a matter of what do you value in this Dennis Allen defense? Do you value a guy playing that nickel position that has, that can really cover and play man? We know CJ's not a guy that's going to cover, but he's more of a guy that can play in the box and generate those takeaways. But he wasn't really good in man coverage this year. And you looked at teams whenever they saw him or they had a matchup advantage in which it was CJ Gardner, they went and attacked it. So I think that's going to play a part in the discussion in terms of whether or not he's a Bear next year as well.
And you got to think too, listen, you got Kyler Gordon back, who realistically is the one who plays the position. He's going to know. I think this is so important, right? Because you mentioned this a couple of times on the show, that first season with Lovey, where you guys were getting a little bit banged up and it was the change from Dick Duran to Lovey Smith. So most of you guys probably didn't know how to prepare the body for what Lovey was asking you to do. Yeah. I think knowing how to prepare your body for this upcoming season, you're going to see a Bears team that shows you a lot more health, very similar to what you guys did in 2005.
Yeah. I think it's, it'll be interesting to see the moves they make. But when the one thing that you have, and you have a quarterback that that you can win with and because of, that was our discussion, right? Throughout the year, you got a running backs that you feel like you can lean on, and you got the interior of offensive line right. So you got your right tackle. I mean, you got your line right, except for your left tackle is a question mark now because of health. If health wasn't a question, you feel really good about your offensive line, and then bringing in pieces in terms of depth to bolster that offensive line. So, yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of work done on the defense, a lot of decisions to make. Yeah, some decisions on offense and in terms of depth, but I think you're in a really, really great spot the Bears are in right now. The best spot that they've been in a long time going into the offseason.
Yeah, listen, best spot since 2018, and I think the biggest difference is it doesn't feel like anything's going to get figured out. Nothing feels gimmicky. Nothing feels like, Ben Johnson calls a really good system. Caleb Williams understood that system. It felt like by the end of the year, and that was what was able to help you get the job done and get to the playoffs and win a playoff game.
Yeah.
And so, listen, like I think you're in a much more comfortable space where you can go, we're good on the offensive side. We need to attack this defense a ton because of a lot of, like we've said throughout this podcast, what Ben Johnson did. And I think that's a great segue into our final topic here, J Mack. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Ben Johnson, a finalist, of course, for Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get the odds here. Coach.
Yeah, well, don't get, because I don't think he's going to win it. I don't think Ben's going to win.
You don't think he's going to win it?
No. I want him to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I obviously being a Bears
Mike
fan.
Vrabel, the favorite right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Mike McDonald, McDonald coming in second. Ben Johnson third. Liam Cohen fourth.
Yeah, I mean, it's you look at, Mike Vrabel first year. I mean, they're 14-3. I'm looking at the list that EO sent us. I mean, you look at Liam Cohen, right? Liam Cohen everybody was talking trash about Liam Cohen, right? In his press conference when he was like, Duval. And what he's Duval 13-4. Like, come on, man. Like, it's awesome to see that Mike McDonald's second year. I mean, oh my goodness. Yeah. Like, Kyle Shanahan's gonna do what Kyle Shanahan does, all them injuries, and to go 12-5, like that just speaks volume of the type of coach he is. I'm a huge Kyle Shanahan fan in terms of from a coaching standpoint, but I think, honestly, the three guys that I look at is Vrabel, McDonald, and then Cohen. Because you look at Jacksonville, they were in worse shape, I would say, the Bears were going into the offseason last year. What do you think?
I would say I think they had the biggest question that had lasted too long. Yeah. And he answered that question in year one of it. Trevor Lawrence, right? Trevor Lawrence was like that was a massive question. Y'all know,
you dogged him out the whole offseason. We all did.
I dogged him out every year. I dogged him out every year because he was the only first overall pick that was touted a generational talent that everybody just went, I don't even know that he's there.
I think it's either,
what are we talking about?
Yeah. I think honestly though, I think it's either when they announced that award, when they announced the coach of the year, it's either going to be Vrabel or McDonald. That's who I'm going with.
It's so tough, right? Because like you can't weigh, or I guess you shouldn't weigh, first time versus experience when it comes to that. To me, I think that Ben Johnson did the best job of anybody with a lack of head coaching experience. Remember, Mike Vrabel also has Josh McDaniels on his staff. Yeah, Josh McDaniels is somebody who has developed quarterbacks many a times, knows what buttons to push to make them tick. Ben Johnson, this is his first real go-round of like, I have a piece of clay. I have to turn it into something. As much as we say Jared Goff wasn't a great quarterback or whatever it was when he showed up in Detroit, Jared Goff went to a Super Bowl and it had big games in the NFL and knew how to deal with pressure at times.
But look at Cohen. Cohen too, though, Pat.
I think Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen are two that you should put a little bit higher, but I do agree with you. I think Vrabel's going to win it because 14-3 still in the, the playoffs technically don't matter, but like 14-3 still in the playoffs. You're seeing the job they're doing. They're probably going to a Super Bowl here in year one of Mike Vrabel, which credit to him. Like it does feel like he's the one that's going to get it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, first year there, still a second year quarterback as well. Yeah. And that franchise was a mess last year. You know what I'm saying? And then he comes in and reinstills the Patriot way that he not grew up, but that he played under Bill Belichick, and understands what it means to be a Patriot. And then you go out there and have a year like you have and an opportunity to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl still. Like it's awesome to see like how the NFL shaped up this year, I think, Pat, where it wasn't just, the teams that we're used to seeing. And that's not a shot to those teams because they've built their organizations to have sustained success. You talk about the Chiefs. You talk about all these teams, the Ravens, all these teams that you expect to be in the playoffs, expect to do good, expect to have a chance at representing the AFC or the NFC. And now it's teams that you would never would have thought Jacksonville had the year they had. Seattle with Sam Darnold, you say, okay, they're good, but they're not going to, be on the doorstep of going to the Super Bowl. And then no one would ever give the Bears a shot at winning the NFC North, and let alone having a winning record under a first-year head coach, second year in the system quarterback in Caleb Williams. So it's good. The NFL is, it's the best thing, the best game in the world right now because of the unknown, and the parity is truly spread out right now, I can say.
Hey, J Mack, I'll say this too. It might be better to just be in the conversation and not win the conversation.
Yeah.
When you look at that Coach of the Year history, you got Jason Garrett with the Dallas Cowboys in 16. He's no longer with the team. You got Sean McVay in 17. He's cooking, possibly going to another Super Bowl. You got Matt Nagy in 18. He's not here anymore. And bro, like they just kind of moved on from him. Like, is he? I don't think he's getting a job. Like they were like, Eric Bieniemy's the new OC. Welcome back, EB. Hey, Matt, appreciate you, bro. Get your way.
All right. Well, I know he's interviewing for these head coaching jobs, so we'll see.
He's interviewing, but all the ones that everybody thought he was getting with a quarterback in the building,
he'll be an OC. He'll be an OC somewhere.
He'll be an OC somewhere. John Harbaugh, of course, has been moved on from, but I think that's a little bit different situation. Stefanski, 2020, fired. Vrabel, 21. Fired.
Yeah.
Daboll, 22, fired. Stefanski, 23, fired.
It's crazy.
Kevin O'Connell is 24. Kevin, fight for your life up there. Don't pick J McCarthy next year.
Man, that's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. It's an interesting landscape. But man, I think the one thing that Bears fans can do is hold your chest. Stick your chest out, hold your chin up high because, hey, they put together a successful season. And we actually have something to look forward to, Pat. I'm so excited.
Bro, I have to probably after the Super Bowl. By the way, who you got in the Super Bowl? Who you think wins this weekend?
Man, I like Seattle. I think it's going to be – I think Seattle, man. The defense is tough place to play. I've played there. It's really tough to play there. And I'm thinking the Patriots.
Crowd gets after.
Yeah, I'm thinking the Patriots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if Jarrett Stidham, grabbing.
I was trying to think, were y'all? You weren't Beastquake. No, the Saints were Beastquake. I was trying because I remember y'all played them in the playoffs. No, maybe you weren't on the team. Did y'all play them in the playoffs?
We played the Saints.
The Seahawks.
We played the Seahawks. Yes, we did. Yeah. Was that
Marshawn? Marshawn had the big run, and
no, that wasn't Marshawn. We played them in the divisional round at Soldier Field. Robbie Gould kicked the field goal.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I do like New England and Seattle. I think those are I just can't. I mean, if New England, if and I ain't no shot at Jarrett Stidham, it's just he hasn't played a lot of football. So if Jarrett Stidham beats you they're in New England or they're in Denver. Where they at?
They are in Denver, I believe.
Okay.
No, they can't be. Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's two teams I like. I think, with the defense, Seattle's defense is extremely tough. I think the pedigree and the culture that Mike Vrabel has instilled in that Patriot team, and not having Bo Nix lead that
Denver. That's right. They were 15-3.
Yeah, but it's no Bo Nix, a guy who's been your quarterback all year. It's tough.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, hey, they got Sean Payton, who's one of the best to ever do it. So we'll see. Exciting games coming up.
Hey, bro, if Jarrett Stidham gets Sean Payton back to a Super Bowl and he goes out there and by the way, did you see what Nick Foles tweeted out?
Yeah, I saw that.
Nick Foles dropped the tough loss, but the one thing that you can't say, the Patriots have a tough time with backup quarterbacks. I was like, well done.
Yeah,
well done, Nick Foles.
Fantastic.
Still taking shots at Brady. I respect it.
Fantastic.
Hey, man, I got Patriots. I think the Rams get to the Super Bowl, dog.
Okay. I won't be surprised.
The Rams get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm not. I think I'm leaning towards Seattle because of that home field advantage. But that
home field advantage is tough.
If Seattle goes out there and wins that game,
do you get used to? I guess you really can't. But I was going to say, do you get used to, because they've won every one of these games on the road?
Yeah.
So is there almost like a comfort that builds up where you've been in that situation? You're coming from a fan base that was losing their minds in the Bears fans out there. I mean, they were going crazy. The stadium yet again was booming.
Yeah.
And so it's not an unfamiliar territory for you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I just think, it's a good team. You got to give them credit where credit's due. It's a really, really good team with a really good coaching staff. And, they got a good a chance as anybody in the remainder of this tournament. So we'll see, man. We got some good football to watch. I wish the Bears was in it. So
me too.
But at the end of the day, I'm gonna hold my chest up high, like I said, and be proud of what this team did this year.
We got so much to be excited about, man. I have no idea who we drafting because I ain't even looked at these mugs. So, hey, appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. For Jason McKie, it is your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. We're going to keep you guys covered with, of course, all the offseason news and coverage that you need here on the Chicago Bears podcast. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bed down. One love. Peace.